sucks. One dash cam is good.
I feel like Corey would have watched the garbage one. You like garbage bad movies. So.
I think he would have known if it was the garbage one, though.
Yeah, I think he would still watch it.
I would.
Yeah.
I would watch both.
I mean, sometimes you gotta watch a shitty horror movie. That's like one of my sister's
Is
favorite
it
things.
The
is to, like,
2021 one?
she'll just go on Amazon
Where it's
and
that
she'll
girl
like,
in the
watch
UK?
it.
Yeah, who's like an Uber driver or something.
Yeah. Was that the
And
bad
she
one or is that the good one?
raps, and she's a Trump supporter, and it's
Yeah.
really convoluted when it has no
Yeah.
right to be. That's the bad one.
What?
Corey
Shut
thought
the
that one was
fuck up.
great.
Get
I don't
outta
know.
here. See you later.
Oh my god! I fucking knew it.
I literally don't trust your opinion anymore. I'm like, close
You
my
are
ears.
sick,
No.
All I know is JD was looking for the good one, and he found the bad one, but I think he found the good one again.
You!
All the bad
Oh, the
guys.
dogs.
Sorry, I was distracted by the dogs.
The
Fuck them dogs.
dogs.
Anyway.
The other one you should watch, Raph, is I Am Mother, which is a sci-fi horror thriller.
Ooh, amazing!
So it's got like
Why do I feel like I know that?
probably because
You probably do. You know, like all the horror movies.
It's the one where the world has ended and it takes place in that bunker.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Yeah, no.
JD, I hope you're not confusing it with Mother.
It is not Mother. It
I'm
is
not.
specifically. It is specifically I
You
Am
are
Mother.
sick
Hilary
son
Swank
of
is in it.
Gonna
Looking.
kill that
Incredible.
dog.
He's the
What's
bad
Define
guy.
Feral?
All the bad guys.
Well, she's living by herself in a shipping container during the end of the world. She's here to kill you,
That's fair.
but maybe not.
That's fair. Oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Casual.
Hey.
I highly recommend it.
Taking a
All right, cool. I'm writing all these down.
Good.
I'm a big fan of creepy movies. What's up?
We're gonna need you to do like a book report once you've watched these.
Right? I'll make like I'll do like a 3 what is like those poster boards, and I'll do like a little essay on them. You guys can read them, and I'll have like, you know, like print out, color paper. Have a
You're
good
the only one that's going to
title.
show up for the display, and you're still going to get third place. I'm just.
Damn.
I only bought third
Ouch.
place ribbons, is the thing, and I bought
Yeah.
1,000 of them.
That's cold.
Yikes! It got shipped. Yeah.
Yeah, what can you do?
Everyone
You-
wins, but everyone wins third place.
Always.
That sounds right.
Well, with that, hello everyone. We are live from the Apocalypse, a not-for-profit TTRPG studio that raises money for aid organizations and progressive causes. We are currently raising money for the Rainbow Railroad, the Canada branch. Now we have raised 1,000 for the US branch. Now we are moving to Canada to support
Let's
them
go.
too. And they are an organization that helps LGBT and especially currently trans people get to safer locations and have access to the aid that they need. Normally, tonight, we would be playing Class Reunion, but instead, we are bringing you a 2-part special with the Class Reunion cast and a special guest using Monster of the Week entitled, who knows at this point, The Last or Lost Broadcast. I have apparently used both. They are both equally valid, and they both carry different connotations and give us options for where we go at the end.
Lost last.
Lost
Broadcast.
last. It's fine. Everything
Lost
is fine.
The
And I've realized
LLB.
that I haven't gotten to terrorize Corey yet, so Corey is new to me saying it is fine as the GM.
I'm ready. I'm so ready. I've never been more ready.
Be a time.
I am delighted. The character concepts for this game have been delightfully unhinged. 3 playbooks that I am not familiar with have been selected. And with that, I think I'm going to have each of you introduce yourselves, your character, and what playbook you are using. Starting with you, Corey.
Starting with me.
Starting
Hi.
with you, because we're going alphabetically this time.
Wow. Hi, I'm Corey. You may or may not have seen me on Class Reunion. That show's a lot of fun. If you haven't seen me, you should see me. I'm going to be playing Garth Targrave. host of the show Garth Encounters. I'll tell you more about Garth as we get in, but I'm sure you're going to be very excited to hear it.
And what is your playbook, Corey?
Oh, that's right. I'm playing the playbook Thrill Seeker, which I am not super familiar with Monster of the Week, so bear with me.
It's going to be incredible. Corey is going to be great. I am so excited to see all of these playbooks in action. And next, Julia.
Never happens. I'm never this high on the alphabetical card. Hi, I'm Julia. I usually am playing in Class Union and also Academy H, as well as whatever random thing I turn up in. Tonight, I'm going to be playing Claire Rio, which is the spooky playbook. And she's just, she's a translator. She's contracted to work on translations for the show. But more and more, she's just been, kind of helping out where she can. Doesn't mean to. She just doesn't get rhetorical questions.
And we love that for her. She is really normal. I
Super
think that's
normal.
important that everyone knows that. Speaking of really normal, Raph.
Hello. Stop. Hello, I'm Raph, and I will be playing Amelia Westwood, the exec. And I am actually normal. Every time I say that, nobody believes me, but the truth is I am normal this time around. I am in the storm, so we'll see. I don't know if you can hear the pouring rain, but she's out there. So
What's her name this time?
it's like Idalia.
Dahlia.
Anyway,
I was going to say something. I'm not going to jinx us. Instead, I'm going to go to our special guest, who you might have seen in some other LFTA stuff, Stephanie.
Hi, I'm Steph. Not usually on Tuesday nights, but I'm very excited to be here. I am playing Anna Lee. She is the Snoop playbook. She loves ghosts and spooky things, and she just wants to share that love with the world. Because who wouldn't want to love ghosts and spooky things? And yeah, I don't know why Mrs. Westwood is so concerned about that. Sharing is caring. So we're gonna see how this goes.
you signed an NDA.
Yeah, I can't speak about it. The camera doesn't need words, though.
Oh, the camera signed an NDA too.
Did it?
Incredible.
What did the camera grow hands?
That was one of your early episodes. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Last but not least, I am JD. I will be the keeper for this tale, and I do way too many things, but you don't need to worry about that tonight. All you need to know is that tonight I am playing everyone else. And I think with that, let's dive into the action.
Okay, sorry, let's go. Just need to get that out.
You good, Raph? You good?
Yeah, I'm good now.
Julia, you good?
I'm always fine. It's fine.
This is going to be some unhinged energy tonight, and that is exactly what we are here for.
We are inching closer to the supermoon. She's fucking up all our jazz.
That explains absolutely so much.
The super blue moon.
I'm actually Super Moon Gemini, so.
You were Garth.
Garth.
Yes.
Hey,
Both.
Garth.
Yes.
Absolutely incredible. You know what? This was a really great break for a moment because it reminded me I haven't started the music.
There's music?
So let's get some music into the mix. All right. So, We begin in a dimly lit room through the point of view of what appears to be a video camera. There are vague shapes and outlines, and they might be things like dressers or wardrobes. But the main focus is the door of the room, which is cracked open with a faint, flickering light coming from whatever lies beyond. A voice off screen whispers, "We saw it again. The door opened on its own, and that thing was just standing there, all shadows and burning eyes, and it just looked at us." There's a moment of silence, and then the same voice says, "Riley, turn on the light." And the light turns on, and the room is flooded with warmth. Well, it should be, but it doesn't feel warm. There's nothing visibly off. We're in a bedroom, and yes, those are a set of dressers, and there is a wardrobe. And even though the door remains cracked,
Yeah, Justin,
had
fucking
fun.
grip it and rip it, baby. Slop that down, dude. Shit, yeah, dude. Crack one
Thank
for
you.
the big boy.
that was the thing, of course, I forgot to mention. Yes, donations. You can do that at any time. We encourage and appreciate that. The great thing about it is I'm the only one who hears it, and it will completely throw me off. So it is always great fun when we are doing a tent scene, and I mean that genuinely, because then I have to figure out where I am and what I'm doing. You can subscribe, but you saw the consequences of that earlier when both Corey and Raph murdered a bunch of dogs. So thank you for starting us with that. We much prefer the donations, though. Thank you. You are incredible. So now we are back in the bedroom. We are seeing the cracked door and the flickering light in the hallway, and it is slightly less disconcerting now that the room we're in is fully lit. But the tension doesn't change. The camera slowly pans around the room looking for something, and we take in a closed closet and a large full-length mirror in the corner. In the mirror, we see the reflection of a young woman with long blonde hair, and she is the one holding the camera in her hand. She sits up in the bed, the blankets bunched up around her, and beside her is an individual with rainbow-colored hair tied up in a messy ponytail, their hand just dropping back from where they'd reached over to turn on that bedside lamp, and coming down to the side of the bed from where they pick up a baseball bat. For a moment, just as the camera moves towards the door once again, something in the mirror flickers around the woman. But we're moving away and we're focusing on that light in the doorway, and we hear movement beyond. There's a moment where you can feel two people in the room holding their breath as the rest of the door opens and a figure comes into view. For a moment, they're just an outline of shadow. But then we see them clearly, and they're tall and muscular. They have long red hair tied back into a braid, and they're dressed in boxers and a tank top, and you feel that tension ease just a bit. The figure looks at the two on the bed and asks, "Did you see it again?" And the person holding the back, previously identified as Riley, says, "Yeah, did you?" The redhead says, "We didn't see anything, but we heard it." Riley asks, "What did you hear?" But before the redhead can answer, the woman holding the camera looks at the figure, presumably, and they make eye contact. You can feel that even though you can't see her. And asks in a panicked voice, "Where's Evan, Onyx?" The figure in the door, now identified as Onyx, doesn't seem particularly concerned and says, He's trying not to get a fucking migraine because of whatever going on with the lights in the hall. Then pauses, looks back over their shoulder, and says, "He's still in the room. He's fine. Don't worry, the door's open." And that is the moment that we hear a door slam from down the hall. And Onyx turns and runs, and Riley and the woman are immediately following. The footage at this point is disorienting. It's jerky as they move into the hall. And the fact that the light out there is still strobing really doesn't help matters. We initially just hear Onyx and Riley pounding on the door, and the camera focuses on them just in time for us to catch them look at each other, nod, and both throw their shoulders into the door repeatedly until it bursts open. The trio spill inside the room, and in the dim glow of the fairy lights strewn around the edges, we see a large being, at least 10 feet tall, made out of shadow that looks like it's burning from within, leaning over a smaller figure on the bed. Onyx yells Evan's name, and the being's head, if it can be called a head, turns at an unnatural angle. And the space where its eyes would be flickers like candlelight. And then it disappears as though it had never been there. There's a sound of like frantic clicking from the side, and Riley sounds frustrated as they say, "The lights won't turn on, the switch isn't working." And that's the moment we realize the camera has frozen in place since we entered the room. Because the image has stayed absolutely still this entire time, with none of the movement that you would expect from not just someone holding a camera, but someone holding a camera in the midst of seeing something like what they just did. And there's a scream from behind the camera. And Onyx and the figure on the bed, who'd previously been motionless, but now pushes himself up on his elbows, look directly at us. Well, at the camera. We get mostly the impression of a dichotomy between pale skin and dark hair from the figure identified as Evan, who hasn't been seen yet, and he and Onyx both look horrified. And one of them, or maybe both of them, or maybe all three of them, if we're going to include Riley, say Alexis, with varying degrees of panic before the camera falls to the ground. And it lands on the floor, but it falls in a way where we can see another mirror, again, full length and in the corner. And in this moment, the lights of the room that previously refused to turn on flicker on just in time for us to see what is reflected back, which is Alexis, levitating in the air, her eyes black, her mouth open in a silent scream, while the other three watch in absolute terror. And then we pan back, and we see the edges of a screen, and we realize that what we're seeing in this moment is coming at us through a viewing room. The four of you are, well, I won't presume to make any assumptions about who is sitting or how you are sitting or anything like that, but you are all there and present and watching this footage. Mrs. Westwood, we see your boss, the Chief of Operations Officer, Lewis Gray, holding the remote that he just used to pause the footage as he stands back and says, "All right, this footage was sent to us by a household that has reportedly been terrorized by some sort of entity for the past several months. They've lived in the house for a year and a half, and this activity is new. There's no notable history about this house, anything known that would explain why this is happening or what has activated it. There's no history of murders, cult activity, rituals, anything like that." He surveys each of you, pausing on particularly Garth and Anna, and says, "Now, sending you out on a case like this is new. We don't do things like house calls. But this video has already made its way onto the internet, and this is something that needs to be contained." And then he looks back at you, Garth, and says, "And if we can make it entertaining in the process, well, that's 2 birds in 1 stone." And he looks to you, Amelia, and says, "It's in your hands now. Take it away."
You got it, Chief. And I think Amelia will just turn to Garth and nod, and then kind of turn to her notes and keep writing.
Garth is kind of like texting, and then he looks back up and he's like, "Yeah, no, I got all that." Just goes back to texting.
Claire kind of like holds her hand up from where she's kind of like standing more towards the back of the room, like near a window. Just waits.
And Lewis looks at you, Amelia, and says, "It's your show."
Yes, Miss Rio.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but given the nature of this video, there doesn't really look to be anything that I'll be doing. Are we sure? Am I supposed to be here?
It's always safe to have a translator with us. You never know what we might come across.
Yeah, that thing might not speak English.
Yeah, but that house also doesn't look like it's so old as to be the site. Like you said, it doesn't look like there could be the site of anything that would necessarily need. Are you sure this is right?
No, you're right, Claire. Would you like to be released from your contract? You don't have to get paid.
Oh shit!
I mean, I have other work I could do. It just seems unethical for me to be present on something that I'm not needed on. Do you want to pay me to stand next to you behind the camera?
I assure you, I hired you for a reason. But if you don't think you're capable of doing your job, then you're welcome to be, scratched off.
No, you gotta come. I need to bring some experts on camera. Like, more bodies who are used to being on camera, the better.
And Lewis does look at you and say, "Miss Rio, you know you polled very highly on who was the favorite cast member."
I don't even know how I got submitted for that. I'm not cast, but fine. If no one thinks it is an administrative mistake for me to be there, I will be there. And she kind of folds her arms and turns back to, so she's looking like she's looking out the window. What she's really doing is she's watching through the room back through the reflection, which is how she watched the entire video, because that's the only way she can see with the shadows. So
Sick. Well, that's good to hear. And Amelia makes a note.
Amelia, you would also know that the reason Claire got second place in that poll after Garth was because she was a write-in, and that many people wrote her name in.
Aww.
Cute. Does that mean we're seeing like AO3 Garth X Claire like
Oh my god!
fan fictions? Anyway, that's out in the
Can't
universe
believe-
now.
Garth,
I can't
Garth
believe you
does
just spoke
comment
that
on
into
those.
existence.
Those get
Is
tweeted
it
at Garth,
more-
and he's like, "Thanks, I love my fans. I'd be nothing without you."
Incredible.
Is it more popular than Garth and Ghosts or Garth and Cryptids?
Oh my god.
I feel like that's number one for
Yeah.
sure.
It's number one.
100%.
Claire
100%.
doesn't have social media, so she has no idea.
Yeah.
She's safe.
Cool.
That's a word for it.
I will also say in front of each of you, there is varying. The files are identical. The information contained in them, well, may not be for some of you, but it basically gives a rundown of the house, and Claire's assessment was on point. This house was built in 2003. It is not that old. It, again, has no notable history of incidents occurring up until this, and there is very brief information about the 4 occupants. They range in ages from 22 to 24, and they have been living there for a year and a half.
Well, I suppose we should pack up some supplies. We're here to create some entertaining television. And I trust, and I think she smiles at Garth and then it kind of gives Anna a side eye, that we will both be entertaining but still follow our contracts. Meeting dismissed.
Please follow the contract. You're no fun. You need to lighten up. You need to learn how to have fun again.
You don't get promoted by lightening up.
Do you have hobbies?
She's like packing up. No longer
hobbies.
responsive.
Okay.
She's not paid to talk to you.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's never stopped Anna.
Garth winks from behind sunglasses,
Incredible.
and then goes back to texting. But you can see exactly what he's typing, like in the glasses. You can see he's actually just checking. He's actually just checking his settings. Like he doesn't really have anybody to text right now. He just wants to look cool.
He just doesn't want to interact. He's like, no.
Yeah.
Incredible.
That absolutely amazing, Corey. 10 out of 10. I love that. I'm going to be asking questions about social media as we move forward. It might become relevant, so who knows?
Oh.
So, what do each of you do to prepare for this upcoming trip out? You know what? We're heading to Ohio.
Oh,
Ah! Incredible.
I think Claire is when reading the brief, she's a little bit irritated that she essentially wasted the trip because she flies out whenever they as part of being a contract worker, she flies out for these shoots and these briefs, and she's like, this could have happened locally because Claire is an Ohio resident, so she's technically already packed and ready because she's been like staying in a hotel for like a day and a half. So she's ready to go. She's gonna go, enjoy expensive coffee because that's what you do when you're in town.
Incredible.
So Garth kind of skims the portfolio there, just to kind of get an idea of what it could be, and seeing that it might be like a spirit or an apparition or a demon or something like that. Garth's whole role is to like make a show around what it isn't. So try kind of to keep everything secret and like supernatural. Like Garth just prepares other evidence. So he has like a jar of like snail jam. He's got a bucket of salt water. He's got a bunch of like mole scat. Just a bunch of like random. Oh, he's got some like fangs that could be like Dracula fangs, like just to like scatter around. Be like, a Dracula's been here. That's what he's loaded up
Incredible.
with. And a sick katana as well.
Just throwing that in there real casual.
It's on his rider.
It's part of his personality.
Yeah, it was a big part of the show's budget was to get like a real katana. The rest of it's mostly fake. It's actually faux leather. Faux leather pants.
Oh no!
Vinyl. The stretch
Real
vinyl.
leather
God.
underwear.
Oh.
Oh, the chafing.
That can't be good for you.
Real leather boxers though, which is kind of weird.
Keep them loose.
Horrific.
Incredible.
Raph, I just appreciate that all of your unhinged energy is coming out in commentary.
I have to release it in some way,
Yes.
okay? So Westwood goes back to her office and probably reads through the portfolio again, makes appropriate notes, and starts packing supplies needed to help ensure the safety of the public eye. She also, you see, like at her office desk, she has like behind her are these like very tall dresser looking cabinets, which she opens one and there is a very, very tall suitcase, and she takes that down, and then she opens another and there is a perfectly pressed suit that she hangs in the suitcase, and she pulls out two more just in case, and a pack of casual clothes, which is a $2,000 suit instead of the typical, $6,000 to $8,000 suit. Navy instead of black, for any sort of casual day. Hangs that in her little suitcase, zips it up, and then packs her backpack with her supplies. And by backpack, I mean briefcase. So
I need to know. Does her pajama sets are they like collared pajama sets with the cuffs too? Like the real ritzy ones?
she absolutely sleeps nude.
I don't know why, like I knew it. It's such a power move.
She doesn't pack pajamas.
Oh my god.
But her
Yeah.
sheets are made of $6,000 suits.
Yeah, exactly. Recycled suits. Actually, new suits.
They
Okay,
recycled.
Yeah,
Get
new
outta here.
suits that are taken apart. And then
so
made
she's
into
one of the ones.
sheets.
She's one of the ones who packs her own sheets.
Yes.
When
yeah.
she goes to a hotel.
her own
yeah.
towels, all that stuff. She throws all that stuff away as soon as she gets to a hotel.
Incredible.
She's doing them a service. So anyway,
Oh my god.
We have learned so much about your character in such a short
So
amount of
normal.
time.
So normal.
And what about you, Anna? What do you do to prepare?
I mean, Anna's the techie, so she's always got some form of device on her. So she just packs all the stuff she usually brings on the ghost hunts and investigations. She's got the temperature reader, the EMF detector. She's got the digital camera, Polaroid camera. She has the video recorder. She's got her multi-purpose tool, and she wears pretty like practical clothes because like she is more than willing to crawl into the crawl spaces or like get up into an attic or something to find these ghosts. So she is used to getting messy on these shoots when it calls for it. So she is very, very excited to go see what she's thinking could be a demon.
Absolutely incredible. And so the four of you gather. Westwood, you know you are in charge Lewis is not going to be making another appearance at this point. You do have 2 camera operators with you. You have Charlie, and for this one, I'm going to say that you also have Cassidy. You've worked with the 2 of them before. They are both good at what they do, and they know to stay out of your way and point the camera at what you tell them to point it at, and otherwise be silent. Although I would imagine Garth sometimes tries to engage them in some sort of conversation, and/or has dragged them in front of the cameras to be one of his experts.
You got to work with what you've got, you know? Sometimes you just got to fill air and have somebody to talk at, even if they don't say anything back.
Absolutely incredible instincts. We love that for you, Garth. We love that.
I'm assuming we have like a company production van, and then the 2 cars that go behind the van, one for me and one for Garth. And before we step in, I think Amelia will sort of pull Garth to the side and say, I just want to make it clear. Gray said this was my show, and we know this is yours. Don't worry. He won't make that mistake again, and I would never.
Westwood, you take care of me. That's what I keep you around for.
It's what I get paid to do. And then she just like gets in the black tinted window car.
What car do you ride in, Westwood? What's it look like?
Definitely like sleek, black, trying to look inconspicuous, but very clearly like the newest type of Lexus. Sleek and clean, and also white wheels. Why not?
Garth rides in a model recreation of the Supernatural car, and his driver is just a guy who looks a lot like Sam. Garth doesn't know how to drive.
Absolutely incredible.
Hopefully without the wig.
God, don't mention that atrocity. Amazing. Amazing. And then the other 2 of you and your 2 camera operators are in the van.
That's fine.
Is it like does it have its own back area that's like a tech kind of hub, or is it just seats? Nice.
It has the whole back area that is the hub. It is one of the options depending on where you decide to set up your nerve center. It can be out of the van if that's what you choose. It can
I feel
also
like
be a
that's
location
what
once you're
Anna
there.
Yeah, that's what Anna typically does, is sort of to have a controlled space that's not at the center of the haunting. So it does. So there's minimal interference with her readings and stuff in there as much as possible.
Who's driving?
You have a separate driver. All 3 of you. The van has its own driver, and then each of your respective cars. Unless, does Westwood allow there to be a driver, or does she want to be in control of that?
I think she drives. She
Of
likes
course.
driving.
Mm-hmm. Are there driving gloves?
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Driving suits.
Driving, yeah, she's in her driving suit. Yeah. Wearing her driving tie with her driving sunglasses.
Gonna have to change out that entire outfit once we arrive.
That's why
It's
the
just a
windows are
jacket.
tinted.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair.
But she's got tinted windows, so she can change her entire look without copping a. Because she would never.
She could
Never.
pay it off.
She could afford it, but she would never.
They'd be lucky.
They'd be lucky. Jesus.
You should be honored.
The unhinged energy that is spilling out around the sides. I love it. Incredible.
Yeah. It's fine. The van's where all the fun is, though.
Yeah. I know Anna's totally like clamoring back there like a monkey, just in her jeans, her crop top, and a hoodie, because she can just zip that up easy, and she's just double checking everything, seeing if there's anything she needs to stock up on when they have a rest stop, and just in her element, not getting pulled over by the cops because no one can see in the back that she's just climbing around back there. And Claire is, of course, welcome to hang in the back, too.
And I was going to say, what is Claire doing during this drive?
I think Claire... So Claire is probably sitting in, like, the passenger seat next to the driver, kind of leaning, looking out the window. And, but in her lap, kind of like to what would appear to be fidgeting to anyone else, she is doing American Sign Language, because she's concerned about the presence of more than one shadow in a given space. And, you know, if her shadow thinks it's going to be a problem going into this house. Although he usually doesn't seem to give a care about going into other people's territory, but this one, from the video, it just seems a little bit more on his level than they usually encounter.
And so, Claire, you're always keeping an eye on your shadow. You can tell me how common you think this is. But there were a few moments around the point where you were watching the footage through the reflection in the window where the shadow disappeared.
So it's not 100% uncommon for the shadow to disappear. It's not the frequency with which Claire worries about, it's the longevity. The longer the shadow is gone, usually the worse it is for Claire when it comes back. And how many like tasks it wants her to do, type of thing. So it just flickering in and out doesn't concern her.
He did not give any sign of like panic or distress or anything like that. The emotional read you got was literally and figuratively cold and overall neutral. And even now, as you're asking your shadow about going to this house and about what might happen with the presence of both him and whatever is in there, you're not getting words in this moment, but mostly an impression of feeling almost insulted that you would imagine whatever is there is on his level.
It's fair. She doesn't push for more if he's feeling a little cranky. But she feels like she should check, because usually, you know, when they encounter things like that, it's Claire is the one who takes the brunt of it, not him. So she's just gotta check. It's just procedure. We're going into someone else's house.
I mean, valid questions to be asking, 100%. And so you're having that conversation with him. Anna, you are in the back getting everything ready tech-wise. I'm just going to say, and I'm blaming Corey for this, your driver is named Dean, because I can't resist. And then your two camera operators are mostly checking their equipment to get it ready and to be ready to get started the moment you arrive. Actually, I'm going to ask you, Garth. Would you have allowed one of them to go with you so you could get some footage of your thoughts as you are heading towards this house?
Yeah, sure. I was also gonna do like a kind of a setup opening shot once we got there, so they'll be ready for that.
Oh, 100%. And so you are all en route. Was that my child?
I was concerned that for a moment she was locked in the bathroom, but if you're hearing her, then she's outside your door. Yep. Sweet baby.
We love cats. So, with that, I am just going to ask, and no pressure. Is there anything anyone wants to do while you are en route?
Garth texts his mom and says, "I love you. I'm on the job. I'll call you in a couple days."
Wow, Corey, way to set that up. Incredible.
She texts back very quickly, "Nice. I love you. I can't wait to talk to you again, and I'll see you this weekend for Sunday dinner."
It's just Garth using a different phone number. Like
That's real sad.
No!
Garth, I don't know what, your arrangement is with
We love cats here too.
you beat me to the pet alert. Incredible. Garth, I don't know what your agreement is with Amelia, but do you put anything out on social media, sort of a teaser for the upcoming case?
Yeah. Garth posts a picture of himself throwing up a peace sign with the camera guy in the back, and then with the driver, and texts out, going to a new location. Tune in this Sunday for a new episode. Hanging out with Jared Padalecki. At Jared Padalecki. It's not. That's not who it is. He actually he hired one of the stuntmen that goes as Jared Padalecki. Anyway,
It's a very complex gag we've got going.
Absolutely incredible. It is getting immediate likes, retweets, all of those things.
I think the only thing Claire would do is if we have time to kill, and after she's had her conversation with the Shadow, is she would probably do a little bit additional research if she can, uh, on the house and the town more. Like she's looking a little bit of a wider net than just the house and the land that it's built on.
I think I'd like you to investigate a mystery.
All right.
So please roll with sharp.
Sharp.
First roll of the night.
Okay. So that's a 5 and a 4 with a +1, so that's a 10.
Incredible. And with that, of course, you can hold 2 of the questions. You do not have to ask both of them right now. You can save one of them if you so choose for when you arrive.
I think for now I will say what happened here, because I think that is a good generalized question for like the town. So like town history, town like tragedies or things like that.
And that definitely speaks to your understanding of how to approach these types of situations, that it isn't always just contained to the location. And so initially you're looking through and nothing really stands out because it's the type of tragedy that happens in every town. You know, people are murdered, tragic accidents happen, but nothing that feels so out of the norm that you look at it and say, maybe there's something going on here. Nothing until you start to notice a pattern in some of the deaths, particularly more recent ones, because you've gone back a long ways and nothing in the overarching history is making you wonder, but you start to notice that the murder rate has gone up significantly in the past 5 to 10 years. And it actually surprises you because you're reading the articles and you're like, person killed with a knife, 20 some year old. Another person killed with a knife, 20 some year old. Hey, another person killed with a knife. And in all of the cases, there have been suspects and in some of them, convictions. But you're seeing that and going, that seems unusual. That seems like someone would have said this is the work of a serial killer. But nobody has, because in every single case, there was someone to pinpoint as the one who committed the crime.
Is there, and if I have to use my other like official question for this, I will, but is there, as I'm looking at the pattern, in the cases with suspects and convictions, is the relationship between the killer and the victim similar in any way? Are they family? Uh are they intimate relationships? Are they roommates? Are they coworkers? Like, is there a similar to the murder, the way of the murder? Is there a similarity in those things? And if I have to use one of the other two, my other hold, I will.
I won't make you do that. What I will say, because you are good at patterns, the piece that stands out to you the most, it isn't identical. In some cases, it's family, in some it's intimate relations, in some it's roommates. But in no case is it a stranger.
Okay. I think Claire will kind of twist in her seat, seatbelt on, but not sitting properly in the seat. She'll twist backwards to where you are at the computer, and she'll go, "Hey, none of those kids died, right, from that video?"
No. Is that correct, JD? No one died in that video?
Correct?
Yeah, no one died. Everything I'm finding online about it is everyone seems to be alive, just
Yeah,
very freaked.
nobody has been hurt at any point.
Why did you like find a pattern or something?
The town has a history of knife murders, which is weird.
Yeah, we're in America. It shouldn't be knives.
Well, that's not what I was taking away from that, but sure. I guess. But it just more that it seems like a common happenstance, and I just wanted to make sure that none of these kids are.
Nope, not yet. And hopefully, we get to prevent any of that nonsense from continuing. But is it just in the town or like the state?
It's Ohio. People get murdered all the time in Ohio.
I mean, I know that. I meant the pattern you found. Is it just the town or the state?
The town.
Okay. Was there any other like pattern? Is it just stabbings? Just was it like a specific area of the body, or the articles didn't say?
That's not really something I was looking for, but I can keep looking. But I think the more important thing is death.
Well, yeah. So it sounds like whatever the thing is, it's hopping around, which would make sense given that the house is fairly new and it's got no like weird history yet until now. But traveling entity in Ohio. Interesting. Hitchhiking demon. Sorry, we don't know it's a demon yet. I don't want to make assumptions. Hitchhiking entity. I'm sure we'll handle it.
I just have to ask, Anna, because you seem like the only one who might do this.
Mm-hmm.
Would you update Garth on any of this, or are you saving this for yourself?
Anna's kind of chatty, so I feel like she would definitely like text Garth from the car, just like entity hitchhikes, likes knives, sticks to this town, thumbs up emoji, knife emoji, ghost emoji,
Garth
devil
can't
emoji, question
ride
mark.
in a car for more than like 7 minutes without falling asleep. So when he arrives, he essentially gets that information exactly as if you were to tell him,
Okay.
because he would park and then read the texts and then step out of the car.
I feel like this doesn't surprise her at this point since this is season 2.
Absolutely incredible.
You just hop out and she's just like, check your texts.
And I will say before we get there, before we get to this beautiful opening shot of what the show is going to look like, I must ask you, Mrs. Westwood, what, if anything, do you do during the drive?
I think Westwood definitely has all of the files with her, next to her. But she's a professional. And she is she when she goes into the car, she just like clicks play on her audiobook, and you start hearing chapter 3. And she is just driving and just slowly whispering the memorized case file, just over and over to herself.
This is entirely up to you, Raph, but are there any words that maybe jump out as she is muttering to herself?
I think specifically, she's going over and over the medical history. And with a bit of a pinpoint on this person named Evan, and a curious person, Alexis. I think that is what she is most is most repeated in her mind.
I love that. Absolutely incredible. And so we have the van in the lead, where after communicating with her shadow, Claire did some research and shared that with Anna, who was working on getting everything ready. We see Garth sleeping in the car. We see his phone go off as Anna texts him. And we see Amelia repeating that information to herself, and we catch brief snippets. We catch some broken bones listed. We catch the words dead for 10 minutes. And we catch the words nothing remarkable. And then the 3 cars pull up in front of the house. It's in a very nice neighborhood. Let me not say very nice. It is in a residential neighborhood, not visibly over expensive. We're not talking like McMansions, but we are talking reasonably sized houses. Nice front yards, picket fences, all of those things. And the house wouldn't catch your eye if you were just driving down the street. It is similar in size and shape to the others. The only feature that not every house has are that a gay and trans flag is flying in front of it. There are other houses that have various flags flying as well, all in the LGBT community, just for the record. But it doesn't look like a haunted house. I mean, in fact, I think Westwood, you're probably thinking, how can we make this look creepier? Because it looks so innately normal.
She makes a note to tell Eric from Post, definitely want to add some sort of filters, sharp cuts, greens, fog, mist, anything like that. Potentially a CGI bat.
Absolutely
One
incredible.
CGI bat.
One CGI
All you need is the
bat.
one.
I'm sorry, no, all I'm thinking is what was said earlier about Garth having fangs for Dracula's. And now we have the one bat.
Spoilers.
Just the CGI bat, bring the transition across.
It's like in a new anime intro where they give away things that are going to happen later in the arc. Like, now I know it's going to be a Dracula. Shit.
And so, Garth, I want to hand the reins over to you. How does Garth set up this introduction to the house?
Well, before getting on camera, Garth goes into his full regalia. He's got a black jean jacket with patches all over it that say things like, I hunted Bigfoot and all I got was this stupid patch, free Nessie, Mothman or die. And on the back of it, it's got like an H.R. Giger style like skull, like xenomorph style, wrapped with like a Hydra skeleton around it. Underneath that jacket, he's got a bulletproof vest because you never know when you're gonna get shot at by a ghost or a Dracula. On either side, and like a clutch, is an M1911 prop pistol.
Yeah, Justin,
Gold
fucking grip
plated.
it and rip it, baby.
On the
Slop
back,
that down, dude.
he has
Yeah,
a
dude.
katana,
Crack one for the big
which
boy.
is a real katana, like unchanged for like whatever, how many hundreds of years. The only thing different about it is the scabbard, which says, if you can read this, you're already dead. Like a bumper sticker. So Garth sets up the camera shot with boom mic guy. Everybody's ready to go, and Garth is like right off camera. And then he waits for Westwood to action.
Yeah, Westwood is changing, so it's going to take a little second.
Garth gets impatient. All right, camera.
Claire's standing there and she's like, do you want me to do the...
Yeah. Garth walks in from off frame. We're standing here at the epicenter of the local supernatural phenomena. Behind me, you'll see what seems to be a quaint home. Now, this may seem peaceful, but in reality, it's anything but. Residents have stated that they've experienced strange noises coming from the basement, creaking pipes, and other startling phenomena. Come along as we uncover the mysteries of this house from hell. I'm your host, Garth Targrave, and welcome to another episode of Garth Encounters. All right, cut. Oh my, beautiful. Got it in one. Roll out, people.
I think that's when Amelia steps out of the car and just clapping. There's no notes. That was wonderful.
Thanks, boss. He holds his hand out for M&Ms and Skittles.
Mm-hmm. She's like, of course, without even like hesitating, she just walks up and just places a handful.
Claire's just like shaking her head, and she's like, it's been almost a year, and that's still so fucking weird.
I know, right? She cracks open her Monster Energy drink and takes a big swig. She's like, I don't get it.
Team meeting. Before we head indoors, I just want to make it very clear. And she just kind of like scoots the camera away from her.
Charlie immediately moves it away and is just like, yeah. That's right, boss. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Don't make me cut you. I just want to make one thing clear. I say this every time we step into a new situation, but I like to give everyone a reminder. And she, once again, just gives Anna stares directly at her and says, we are not here to solve any sort of case. You may think that we're here to help these people or create some sort of peace in this household, this town, whatever spookiness you want to apply this to. No, that's not why we're here. We're here to create television, entertaining television. And what I don't want to see is anything that could be potentially dangerous or hazardous for the public. Caught on camera, caught on any sort of recording device, leaked, noted, etc. Remember, we are here to make reality TV, not put reality on TV. Thank you.
It's a similar clap from Garth.
A little nod.
And Claire's just kind of like shaking her head, and she's just like, I am never gonna get it.
Hannah's just kind of duct taking over the Monster Energy drink logo after the like harmful to the public comment. And then just keeps drinking it.
And just to set that scene, now you have a duct taped can in your hand that
Yep.
you are drinking. Okay,
Mhm.
beautiful.
No free advertising.
Oh.
I think then she steps back. She has her little notepad and she just says, Garth, it's your show. Let's make magic. But not too much.
There it is.
All right, we catch up. Garth kind of just walks up. We're off camera now, so kind of just walks up, knocks on the front door. Hello, we're expected. Hello.
And I will say, Charlie is following you. Cassidy is holding the boom mic, and both of them are kind of looking at you like, do we want this part on camera? Do we want it off? What's the plan, Garth? Because we want, do we want to catch you like seeing them for the first time, or no, we want to set the shot, right? We want you to
Set the shot, yeah. And then if you want to go ahead and just get some B-roll, get some like spooky, like around the house. If you see anything like creepy on the house, like zoom in like really hard and then like zoom. You guys know what you're doing.
Yeah, of course. We'll get right on that, boss. I'm just gonna throw it out there. They didn't used to call you boss, Garth. This is something new for this second season. They always deferred to Amelia early on.
Hmm.
This makes Garth uncomfortable.
I think
Too much power.
I think while that's happening, I think Claire kind of like sidles past to knock on the door like properly to get them to know that we're here. Just kind of scoots on by.
And the door opens up, and you get your first clearer image of one of the figures you didn't see quite as much of on the footage. You see Riley standing there. They are the one with the rainbow colored hair that is tied back, still in a ponytail, a much less messy one. And they look so relieved to see you. And they, oh fuck, we're so glad you're here. This has been a nightmare. How, what do we do? Do you all just walk on in?
Garth is already walking past.
Oh my god, you're Garth Targrave. Oh my god. I've been so impressed by your work. Things you do, they're really cool. I mean, you do some extreme stuff. I thought I did some extreme stuff, but like the stuff you do, I mean, you're my idol. You're my role model. I shouldn't say that. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm saying these things to you.
Please. I mean, it happens all the time. You would be surprised. Actually, you shouldn't be surprised with what you know about me. Garth is already signing a picture of him base jumping. It's photoshopped, but she doesn't know that. Hands that away. So you do extreme things as well. What kind of extreme things do you get into?
Dirt biking, motocross, I do snowboarding. Yeah, I do a lot of different things.
Interesting. Well, let's round you all up and get an idea of what's going on here.
Yeah, I think everyone's a little like spread out right now. Is there we have the kitchen. We have the dining room. Is there a place that would work best?
about
I
the
don't know how this
basement?
works. I mean, there's nowhere to sit in the basement.
The
But
living room is fine.
okay, yeah. Okay, I can get everyone to the living room. Yeah. Thank you all
Uh,
again.
Westwood kind of leans in and says to Garth, "Let's save the basement for the second half. Post ad cut."
See, like that's and like Claire turns to and she's like, that's the thing. Why are we filming in sequential order when it's gonna get edited anyway?
I don't know. I think this is Garth's preference. I think he just likes to go sequentially. I've never questioned it. I'm not calling the shots, but I'm pretty sure it's Garth.
Listen, 9 times out of 10 when they hire me to be on these shoots, I don't actually have anything to do except question what's going on. They had me
Oh,
translate Latin twice.
hey, you became the fan favorite. What can I say? It's lucky breaks.
I don't do anything.
You're the everyman then. You're the one they relate to.
Ugh.
Just have fun with it. It's fun. It's thrilling. It's exciting.
I'm gonna go stand in their kitchen. Just stand in the middle of their kitchen.
Doing great. Having fun.
Incredible. And so at least it sounds like Garth and Amelia, maybe also Anna, head towards the living room, along with, I would imagine by this point, even though they have been sent to get some B-roll, you've got the camera operators back inside so that they can film whatever will happen next. They do sheepishly tell you, Garth, that I mean they found some like moss on the side of the building, but like that was about the extent. Also, there was a stone in the backyard that could maybe look like a grave, but like you look at the footage and it clearly isn't.
That's fine. We'll put a filter over it. Maybe get like a bat flying by.
And they of course both tell
God,
you that you're incredible, and you have such good instincts for this.
I think where Anna sits, she's got the EMF detector on, just casually resting in her lap for the conversation, and just has her notepad out and is just listening but watching.
And so once the three of you are settled in there, and you, Claire, it sounds like, are in the kitchen a bit of a ways off as this interview is happening.
Yeah, Claire kind of separated herself so that she can kind of like be in a space and let the shadow kind of like be the shadow. Uh and I wanted to use the second hold that I had specifically on thinking back to the video to how it was like just terrorizing them at night and then it like picked the one girl up and just held her there. And since Anna said that none of them died, so clearly the girl lived, I think I want to use the what was it going to do question from my hold. Because like she understands the premise of the show as far as its sensationalism and everything else, but like Claire usually goes on these things because she's actually here to do tasks.
And so, with that, Claire, you are thinking back to the video. You are thinking about what you had just read in those news reports. You are thinking of what you know about what possession looks like. And it was now, looking back on it, reasonably evident to you that in that moment, Alexis was possessed. the piece that you're realizing you don't quite know the answer to is what stopped what was presumably about to happen, because you saw those news reports, and it's at least a hypothesis at this point the people who committed those murders were possessed. If Alexis was possessed, and that is technically an if, you're not certain,
Mhm.
but if she was, that seems to be whatever this entity is, what the plan is each time. And so it seems like something stopped that from happening. And you don't know what or why.
Make a
But
note.
and so we kind of move away from Claire in that moment. We move into the living room. We see the three of you and Charlie and Cassidy getting everything set up and ready to go. Riley returns with Onyx and Alexis. They both look fairly similar to how they looked in the video, although Alexis has very deep and dark circles under her eyes. And just as Onyx is looking around and asking, hey, where's Evan? We hear uneven footsteps moving in the direction of the kitchen and the sound of a cane hitting the floor. And a young man walks into the room. He's about 5'5", dressed all in black, dark hair, dark eyes. And he walks in like he knows you're going to be there, Claire. And you feel your shadow rest a hand on your shoulder. And at first, it's just that cold that you're used to. It stings. And you think, maybe he's angry with me. But no, his hand is almost involuntarily tightening on your shoulder. And when you look over at Evan, and if you don't look over at Evan, your shadow's other hand cups your cheek and makes you look. You see that he is staring right at you. Well, not right at you. He is looking right over your shoulder. And he does not look surprised or afraid. And with that, we're going to go on break.
Normal house, normal people.
Normal house, normal people. You're all very normal.
So normal.
Congratulations on the
Yeah.
normalcy tonight, everyone.
Thank you.
Ooh, boy.
Ready to
I've
go on
been-
our contractually obligated break.
Claire, yep.
Precisely.
Yep.
What's with the little house on the prairie?
So-
It's so
Does-
The world
it's
may
just-
never know, but we will
Do
be
you
right
just
back.
enjoy the
No.
Just don't tell him. He's not allowed to know.
Garth,
He's not
instead of
allowed to know.
having
That's like one of the only things that Claire and Westwood
I
agree
think
on.
Anna's in agreement on there because she likes her job and she wants to keep her job.
That's the
We
that's the one
absolutely
agreement.
like-
All three.
Yeah,
We-
just
we
the
shook on it.
do not tell Garth about Russian roulette.
If he asks what it is, we'll tell him it's like a really boring Russian movie or something like that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Garth hates
It's like
boring.
an opera, so it's
Yeah.
really boring.
It's
Garth
a
actually
opera, full Russian.
full roulette. Garth used to have, instead of like M19 like gold plated like fake guns, he had like one real revolver that was like for like one episode. They swapped that out
Got
real
cut
quick.
immediately.
Or you're like,
Like
No.
you pulled it out and shot like the ground, and Westwood's like, nope, hand it
Garth was
over,
like,
hand it over.
"Whoa, I thought that wasn't loaded."
Thought that was a blank.
Puts that back in the holster.
I do want to know real quick what Garth calls the green, like green snack, green
Salad.
Mash.
Just like give me the green mash,
Green
like
mash.
mushy peas.
No.
Yeah. Because when you like chew it all up together, it kind of looks like mushy peas anyway.
Yeah. So when you're like, "Can I get some mash?" I'm like, "I got you." And then
And I just need clarification. It is both Skittles and M&Ms.
Yep, at a 9-to-1 ratio. So 9
have to get it
M&Ms
at the
to every
9-to-1.
1 Skittle.
I have an intern that
Horrifying.
counts it out specifically.
And what they do
Totally
is they scrape
rubbish.
off the S and the M. So I'll never know which one's going to be which.
Yeah. With a new Q-tip every single time. You don't use the other side. It's just one side of the Q-tip fresh, and then throw that one away. And then take another fresh Q-tip and scrub it off.
It's an
I've-
unnecessarily
Claire's again
expensive
just standing there like, you could just order this color you want with no markings on them from like a bridal website. These are like really common like things that people give away at weddings at like the tables, is you can just order them in your party colors. Like, why
Oh,
are
I
you-
see. So you want to fire Mark, is what you're telling me. The intern.
No, let Mark.
You
go
want me to?
re-
Oh no,
you
go
don't
ahead.
pay
Go
him anyway,
go in
Westwood.
there.
You don't pay
Go
him anyway,
in there.
Westwood.
Experience is worth more than money.
No, it's not.
Go in there and tell him that he's fired.
You know what? If I told him that he could just order them online and not tell you, and he can just expense it, bet you that'll go over well.
I'll know.
Will you?
Garth will know.
when
Will
he gets
he?
fired.
That's fine. I'll just tell Garth that you're threatening one of his buddies on the set. You know he likes all of his friends.
Earth calls
Text Garth.
everybody on set Bobby.
Anyway.
Just imagining some of
Anyway.
the employees are from like
And
Garth's
then-
frat in college.
Right after that, Claire and Wes would go get like a salad at like
Oh,
the
yeah.
mall and just like
100%.
shoot the shit.
Absolutely incredible. And, I think this was a tremendous sneak peek into what is going on in the lives of these characters and in the
We're
minds of
close.
these characters.
Best
Yeah.
frenemies. Best
Mhm.
frenemies in the
Mhm.
whole world.
And so, as we jump back into this technically investigation, but I guess more of a cover up if we're all being honest with ourselves, we're going to rejoin Claire in the kitchen. And there is a pretty significant piece I did not mention earlier, though that's because the camera didn't fully catch it earlier. And that is as Eben kind of pushes some of the hair from his face, you see a scar that runs from his left temple all the way down to his throat. And he brushes his hair back, and as though this is like a relatively normal interaction, just offers you his hand and says, "Hey, you must be one of the investigators. I'm Evan."
Claire, Rio, and she reaches out and shakes his hand. I'm actually a translator. I'm here in case, I don't know, any of you have scratched some kind of cryptic message into the wall somewhere.
I mean, not to my knowledge, but I guess that's always possible. Does that happen a lot?
Sometimes. A lot is a non-quantifiable. It happens. Enough, I guess.
Well, I mean, we're all really glad that you're here. So
Mm,
I guess thank you for that.
sure. We're actually setting up in the living room. I was just getting a lay of the downstairs.
Yeah, do whatever you need to do. And he just kind of nods at you and continues on his way to the living room.
Claire will hesitate for a few seconds to see if the shadow has anything to add, and if not, she will follow him and kind of like stop at the living room doorway so that she can watch what's happening.
The shadow doesn't say anything to you, and it's hard to tell if he's just being withholding of information or if he's waiting to be certain of something. But he does not give you anything other than, well, I think, as you were saying, Claire would naturally stop in the doorway. You feel him hold you in that place and keep you from stepping in any further.
Kidoki. Casually do a casual lean against the door frame as if nothing's weird here. Totally fine.
And the living room is filled with like mismatched furniture. There's a love seat, there's a couch, there's a chair. They've all clearly been gotten from different places, potentially, yard sales or things like that. And uh, the four of them just kind of all more or less squeeze in on the couch together. Evan ends up just sitting on Onyx rather than taking a seat elsewhere.
We get a shot
And
of like over Garth's shoulder toward facing them, and then a second shot from behind them, looking at Garth.
beautiful. Perfect aesthetic choice as always, Garth. And they all look at you expectantly.
So we'd heard some rumors, or at least we saw the tape, and we really need to know what is your guys' experience? I mean, outside of that brief snippet, what's been going on?
And the four of them exchange a look, and Riley says, well, I mean, it started off like, like kind of weird, but nothing that bad. I mean, cold spots, cabinets being open, drawers opening by themselves, closets opening by themselves. And then we started to see that figure, that that shadow. And it started talking to us. It started saying things.
To one of you specifically, or like in general?
I mean, all of us heard things at different times. Like we would just be alone in the room and we'd hear someone say something like, "You're not alone," or "You're going to die." And at first, I mean, I think we all kind of knew, and they pause and look at the others, and everyone nods, and they say, I mean, none of us are like, we're not going to be dicks to each other. We wouldn't do that, but we did kind of wonder, like, was someone pulling a prank or something like that? Like, I don't know, a walkie-talkie in the room. But no, it just kept happening, and that night was the worst. I mean, it was doing something to all of the electricity, and then it tried to get Evan when he was alone. I mean, you saw what happened with Alexis. I mean, she was full on levitating.
Yeah, that must have been super terrifying. So, did it always have burning eyes when it appeared?
Yeah, it always had burning eyes like that.
Does it appear pretty evenly throughout the house, or does there seem to be one area of the house it favors or avoids?
And Riley starts to answer and then pauses and looks at the others and says, and did we ever like tally up the places it's been seen? And they all kind of look at each other and shake their heads. And at that point, Alexis, who's been averting her gaze from all of yours, says, I think that depends on whether you're asking about the full apparition or asking about when we've heard it. We've heard it in almost every room of the house. But I guess if we're looking for where it's appeared, well, it appeared in both of the bedrooms. It's appeared in the kitchen. It's appeared in the living room. I don't think it's shown up anywhere else.
Hasn't cornered any of you alone in the basement?
And there is an uncomfortable beat of silence before Onyx this time says, I mean, I guess you could say that, but it's kind of cornered us anytime we're alone. But yeah, I saw it in the basement once. It made all of the lights go out. I I could hear it breathing and whispering all of the terrible things it wanted to do. And I couldn't see it because it was dark, but I could see those eyes.
And it was the same voice that had been whispering those things to you guys.
Yeah, it's always the same voice.
Garth takes a glass vial out of his coat pocket and puts it on the coffee table and slides it over them, and asks, have you seen anything like these? And inside you see like prop Dracula teeth.
And Riley picks it up and stares at it and furrows their brow and says, I don't think so. Should we have?
Um, Garth takes it back, puts it in his pocket. It's a big house. Something like that you could simply miss. Turns to the camera. We'll be looking at all options.
Anna just looks pained.
Westwood leans in to Charlie and just says, make sure when you capture B-roll, we allow some space for more bats.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Moon, night sky, basements, stuff like that.
Yeah, once you start the, you know, the lockdown part of this, I'll make sure to get some of that B-roll footage.
Mm-hmm. This was a great setup, everyone. Before we continue, I just wanted to confirm I did receive everyone's emailed and signed NDAs. And she just kind of like scans the couch.
And everyone nods, which you know is the case because you received all of them.
Wonderful. I do want to just make one note. Garth, the star here, he may do some interviews with you one-on-one or may have some conversations with you. Please refrain from using the word investigation. This is not an investigation. This is an encounter. Legally, we must use the word encounter. We won't want to fix it in post, so correct yourselves, please. Garth?
I want to take Onyx away for a second, just for like a brief interview.
Yeah, Evan has to get out of their lap, and that is easy to navigate. He just takes that spot, and there's a moment where he kind of holds on to Onyx's hand, and they share a look, and Evan squeezes their hand, and they lean down to kiss his forehead, and then they follow you.
Now, Onyx, from what I understand, up, one to the left. Now, Onyx, I understand that you had an encounter with the creature in the basement. You mentioned that it was dark, you weren't able to see the creature. Was that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were kind of relying on your other senses there. How good is your sense of smell, would you say?
I mean, normal?
Okay. Well, and Garth takes out another vial out of his jacket, puts it behind his hand, and like unscrews it. Take a whiff of that for me. What does that smell like?
And Onyx, like with clear trepidation, but hoping this will somehow be helpful, leans forward. What
It's
does it smell like?
it's like slime.
Oh.
I don't know what that smells like, but I don't know if that's familiar to him.
They
Okay.
look confused and then just ask, I mean, is that like ectoplasm or something?
So with the smell you recognize, turns to the camera, corks it.
I mean, maybe? Maybe?
Hmm,
I think I've smelled that outside sometimes.
interesting. Well, let's go ahead and return back to the group there. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Onyx. Tips him $1.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure talking to you as well, Garth. Yeah, thank you all again.
I think while they're doing the interviews, Anna's gonna like heft her bag and start setting up the cameras for each room for the lockdown tonight. I feel like that's probably her job, so she can make sure there's no blind spots and things like that.
Where are you setting up the cameras?
She brings a lot of those little cameras to set up. Probably if she can manage each room of the house. just because it seems like the house all over has been active. But she also just does that anyway, just because she likes to cover as much base as she can.
Just out of curiosity,
Yes.
do you go down to the basement by yourself?
Hell yeah. She's not scared. She'll turn the light on and leave the door open. She'll just go down there to set up the cameras.
And is that the last place you go?
No, she probably sets up on the first floor first and then does the basement before going up to the second floor.
And so, I mean, it's pretty typical for an unfinished basement. It's got some rickety wooden stairs. The floor is cement. Um, the only real notable thing that stands out to you is that you can see like where there once was a hook in for the washer and dryer, that's no longer there. It's pretty clear outside of the use of tools. People probably are not down here that often. Like, there's nothing that would bring them down on a regular basis. But there is a workspace set up, there is a wall with tools hanging on it, and there are 4 dark and dingy corners to consider where you might place cameras in.
Perfect. Those corners sound just the thing. So she's going to start setting all that up over in each corner, just with the night vision camera, of course, because it's going to be dark down here because it likes to turn off the lights. So she's going to do that. And is there I can do? I think while she's down here, I want to roll for investigate a mystery.
I would love that for you.
Just to
Roll
get a
with sharp.
read. See how this goes. That is an 8.
Okay. So you can hold one question.
What is being concealed here?
Okay. We're going to get to the answer of that, but we're going to get to the answer of that in a moment.
Yay!
Well, Anna is down in the basement. What are the other 3 of you doing?
I think Westwood is going around to everyone's individual rooms and getting an idea of their situation. I guess trying to do like a read on each person. She has their medical files, so she has an understanding. But just trying to see where she can make any moves if necessary.
And with that, I'm going to say it is a bit of a challenge because there are 2 bedrooms and they are equally shared between all 4 of them. Like, you realize as you're looking
Polycules
around.
Oh,
And so it does make it really tricky because I think there's a moment where, especially with the footage, you're like, okay, this is the room that Alexis and Riley are in. And you're, looking at the items that you would expect. There's like a snowboard propped in one of the closets. There's, some dresses in there as well.
mm-hmm.
And then, like, you see an outfit that has to be Evan's because it is all in black and it is clearly made for a smaller frame. And then you see, like, a big fuck off sword that you're honestly not sure who it belongs to because it feels like Onyx or Riley could be the owner of that.
Okay. Well, I can probably use this to my own advantage. Let's see bathrooms. I'm curious about bathrooms and their medicine cabinets, actually. I have no problem looking around.
Interesting.
Just want to see if things match up.
And I think with that, am I gonna have you investigate a mystery? I'm not gonna have you investigate a mystery. I'm gonna give this to you.
Beautiful.
What I will say is that everything lines up. I mean, you of course find on the non-prescription side of things all of the normal things you would expect, you know, Tylenol, ibuprofen, allergy medicine. But you also find, I'm just going to make sure that I say the right thing here and don't mix anyone up because there are 4 of them.
Yeah.
You find that there is an inhaler that has Onyx's name on it.
Figures.
You find 2 separate bottles of heavier duty painkillers, and Riley and Evan's names are on those.
Understandable.
You also
Anything? Okay.
anything for Alexis?
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing for Alexis.
Interesting. Okay.
And so we've got Westwood upstairs. We've got Anna downstairs. What are Garth and Claire doing?
Unless Claire has any other plans, I'd like to bring her in for her star interview. Get some shots out of the way early. Make the back end of the shoot easy. I'd like to call Claire into the kitchen, and we take like an extra amount of time between Charlie and Cassidy, like setting up the lighting, just making like Claire is just like the star of this scene, just like getting perfect lighting, perfect angle. Now, Claire, after conferring with some of the experts, we've decided there is a high likelihood we may be dealing with brain slugs. After dealing with Onyx in my previous interview, there's a good chance that he found snail mucus, or that he could smell snail mucus in the basement. Now, you are a communications expert. You have a long history of study in the field, so I wanted you to take a look at this. And Garth had like drawn like a little snail trail, and in it kind of wrote out like help, like, very obviously, and it just like trails off around the corner. What do you think that could mean?
I suppose that could indicate emotional distress. Potentially even a cry for help, Garth.
And in your history, is this indicative of pretty common behavior of brain slugs, or are we dealing with kind of an extreme case here?
You know, Garth, I can't say I've ever witnessed this kind of behavior from a slug, brain or otherwise. This is shocking to me, truly. Did you ask them? Did you ask them if most of these hauntings take place at night or in the daytime? And did you ask them if there's like increased activity during full moons? Did you remember to ask them that?
Mostly, I just had them kind of like, got it. Mostly, I just had them like smell stuff for camera.
Okay. Well, especially if you guys keep wanting to include your bats, maybe you should go back and ask them about the moon.
Genius. Without much tact, Garth, Onyx, Onyx, could you come here for a second? Don't worry, we got this together, you and I.
Yep.
And Onyx comes in and looks hopeful as well as confused and says,
Sorry.
and just kind of looks to you, Garth, and says, "Hey, yeah, what's going on? Did something happen? Was there some activity?"
We take a moment to reset the angle and the lighting to really make Claire pop here. Now, Onyx, I know we had a previous sort of interview, but our expert Claire, fan favorite expert Claire, wanted to ask you a couple questions of their own.
Of course.
Thank you, Garth. Yeah, I just had a couple of questions. You know, these kinds of activities, did they mostly happen, you know, when they started? Did they start during the daytime and escalate to the nighttime? Have they always been relegated to a certain time of day? And how prevalent is the moon when you guys are experiencing these traumatic events?
Well, I mean, it's never been only at one time of the day. Like
Mhm.
when I was down in the basement, it was the middle of the day. Like the sun was out. It's just that not a lot of light gets into the basement. There aren't really any windows.
Would you say, Onyx, that it reminds you of a shadow in that it doesn't seem solid?
And Claire, once again, you feel that touch on your shoulder, and it's a warning. It's a warning sign. Not indicating like you have to back off, but clearly that you need to tread carefully. And Onyx thinks about your question and says, I mean, yeah, it's exactly like a shadow. It's like a shadow, but it's on fire. I don't know about the moon though. I hadn't thought about that. It's been pretty consistent, but maybe it does get worse when the moon is full. I'd have to look back.
I think maybe that's something you guys could discuss when you're at your hotel this evening while we're doing our lockdown. Right, Garth?
That's a good idea.
Garth, you would know, and I think only you and Amelia would know. There is not a plan to send them to the hotel. There is a plan for them to remain in the house throughout the lockdown.
Did they know that?
You do see Onyx look a bit confused when that comment is made. And they just kind of look at Claire and then look at you and then back at Claire and say, "Sure, sure, if that's the plan, we can definitely talk about that."
All right, sorry, we need to get kind of a post interview back and forth. So if you got like something else you got to do.
Yeah, of course. I'll go ask the others, see if we can figure out when these events happened and what might have been going on with the moon during that time. That's good thinking. Uh, you both are clearly experts.
Garth winks
Claire,
under his sunglasses. You can't see it.
Claire's just like, sure.
I don't know, like what they told you and whatnot, but they're not going anywhere. I mean, I don't
You
know
know,
what's going on out here, but these guys are
Claire
great.
kind Claire kind of like gestures like she almost like she's gonna like block out the camera, and she kind of like misses and doesn't pay attention, and so it's still just there. And she's like, "Wait, we're not gonna send them out. We're gonna have them here the whole time. They're gonna be like incredibly underfoot. We
I
never
mean,
had we never had anybody at the other lockdowns. I mean, I know this is the first house we've ever gone to, but like we've never had anyone stay with us."
this is a big episode. This is gonna be like the mid-season finale. If we were to send them out of the house, think of what we'd miss out on. I mean, we may not even see the thing. These guys are like magnets.
You think it's targeting them? Like it's not the house, it's them?
I mean, I don't know. I gotta say it's been all around the house, but I haven't heard anything. Maybe we should go in a closet and see what happens. Not you
Claire.
and I specifically. That's not my whole. I watched the training video, so there
You
are
s-
multiple closets.
You say that, the camera just picks up Claire's side eye as she looks directly at Charlie holding the camera. Just like, yeah, no, I don't think you and Charlie can go in a closet. I will stay in the, you know what? You guys go check out a closet. I'll go find Anna.
And that
Deal?
is actually the moment when the door to the basement slams shut and the lights go off. And we see from the perspective of one of the cameras Anna standing there in the dark. What does she do?
She just pauses and then quickly picks up the night vision camera she was setting up and flicks it on and to just look through it and is just like, oh, we're starting early. Okay. And she's just slowly kind of panning around the basement.
And as you're looking around, you're moving it from side to side. And I mean, this is a basement, so there always have been some items in view, boxes, things like that. It's not overly crowded. It's not one of those basements where it's like an obstacle course to get around. It's pretty well contained to one part. And you're moving the camera over that, and you stop because there's an object, a large object, covered with a sheet
Oh.
that you're pretty sure was not down there before.
So I hate that. Anna is just kind of like, oh shit. Um, and it's just kind of all right, not subtle. You probably want me to go over there and pull the sheet off and then scare me, right? Okay. I mean, don't you get tired of that? Don't you want to like have a conversation instead? Instead of all these like dire warnings. What? Why are you hanging out here? She's gonna flip on her recorder too to get any like digital recorder to get any readings that might not pick up with the human ear.
And audibly, so not needing to go to that recorder,
Well,
you hear a voice. Feels like it's coming from right over your shoulder. Like you feel almost like the brush of a hand against your hair. And it just says, "You're gonna die here tonight."
and Anna's just kind of gonna go. She kind of feels like the sweat starting to prickle on her skin because this is freaky shit. Even if she's just like, yeah, this is my freaky shit, but she's just kind of gonna be like, bet. and just flips the camera around and flips the viewfinder to see if she can pick up anything behind her.
Incredible. I love that.
I hate this. I hate this a lot that she's doing this.
I'm gonna have you act under pressure and roll
Cool,
with
I
cool.
figured. Yep. What roll is that? Is that a cool roll? Because that is
Yep.
my worst stat.
Have fun.
I'm going to. All right. Act under pressure. Okay. This is fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. And that's an 8 again.
All right, so I have some options here, and
Yay.
I love that.
Love that for you. Oh, those options. Yay. You get to pick, right?
I do. And that is always a fun thing to get to do for me. So
The options are give me a worse outcome, hard choice, or a price to pay. Love that we're rolling on this in the basement. Quality footage for the
it's
show.
so fine. It is so good and so fine.
So
So with this, you know that you're alone down here. And you obviously are not brand new to any of this. And that is both a good and a bad thing because you're recognizing whatever this is, I might be able to deal with it on my own. But also, I am down here and I am isolated. And so I'm going to say you are recognizing what does Anna have on her as weapons out of curiosity?
she has her one weapon, which is a multi-tool.
So
she was the only one being subtle with this shit.
I love that. I love that so much for you. And so what I'm going to say is I'm going to give you the option of a hard choice. And that choice is if you stay down here, you're going to get the full answer to that question of what is being concealed. But you're likely going to get hurt. Or you can leave and not get the full answer to that question.
I feel like you know what Anna's gonna pick, and she wants that answer. So she's gonna stay fucking put and get that answer.
Incredible. And so you flip the camera around so that you're able to see over your shoulder. And I mean, it is right there. In fact, it is so close that all you can see are those burning eyes. And it knocks the camera out of your hand. And it grasps your forearm. And its touch burns. And you are going to take a point of harm.
Ooh, boy! Oh, Anna, why you gotta be like this? Because I made you like this. Cool. 1 harm.
Who did this to you?
I did this to me. This is my fuck around and find out consequences.
And I think I first want to ask, I mean, how does Anna react to that?
I think to the pain, because it's burning, she can't help but scream because it fucking hurts. So she does let out a scream and then just kind of grits her teeth and is just like, all right, that's new.
I would imagine hearing the door slam and Anna scream. The rest of you are potentially making your way towards the basement. The door is not opening.
Of course not.
It's not open or it's not opening?
It's not opening.
She was the only one with a multi-tool.
Claire's like,
It's okay. She signed a waiver. So
oh, Westwood, you're back. Claire kind of like braces on the door frame with one hand and like wraps her hand around the doorknob with the other, and she says it out loud, and it just like it sounds like whatever to everyone else, but she's saying it specifically to the shadow, and she says just open the damn thing.
oh, you're
You're
muted.
muted, baby.
Thank you. I'm going to have you roll to manipulate an NPC. Roll with charm.
Ooh.
Okie dokie.
Ooh,
With my charm.
spicy.
A 6 and a 2 is a 6, 7, 8, but it's a -1, so it is a 7.
And so, what I'm going to
7.
say in that case,
Yeah.
you are going to hear him ask, and what will you give me in return?
And I think with the hand braced on the door frame as like much as she can form it, I think Claire is gonna say, I'll help you eat him.
What?
Just going to make a note of that real quick, just for casual. And so a number of things happen back to back to back. And so, you are in the basement. You are antagonizing this entity.
She's not smart. She's
You are definitely getting snarky with them. They throw you down on the ground. You're not going to take another point of harm.
That's kind. Because I only got 4 before things get real bad.
But your multi-purpose tool goes flying and disappears somewhere in the darkness, since you can no longer see as the camera isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And you are, I would imagine, scrambling back, trying to get out of the way as these 2 burning eyes are just advancing on you. And your hand closes on something. A bottle. What would you like to do?
Did I see the bottle there, or do I not remember?
You did not. It's possible something spilled, but the floor was clear, everything was neatly stowed away, and this is just suddenly in your hand. Almost like it was placed there. In fact, you can't remember if you felt for it on the floor or it was suddenly in your hand.
I think she's gonna pelt. She's gonna chuck it right at the demon's face, because why the fuck not she?
And it's surprising because this being is made of shadow. You're throwing this at them, but you're thinking it's just going to pass right on through because it's insubstantial. But it doesn't. It breaks. And that being screams. It is a scream that you all hear. It is a scream that literally shakes the house. and it disappears. And in that moment, almost simultaneously, you, Claire, feel your shadow accept the deal, wrap his hand around yours, and the door unlocks and opens. And you all are free to go down into the basement to find out what just happened with Anna.
I think we kind of shuffle Cassidy and Charlie down there first. Get some good footage up front.
Of course, and I mean, they're both concerned and like looking at you, Anna, but you got to get the shot. You gotta.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just kind of like still on the floor, kind of like, holy shit, did that just fucking happen? And is looking around for the camera she dropped. And it's just like, I just got the sickest shit on camera and it just cost me some skin. Oh my god. Oh hi, I'm fine. It's fine. We have the first aid kit in the truck? Yeah.
Yes, the medical kit is in the truck. But we are not responsible for any injuries. The production company, anything
I
that
don't
might
give a shit,
happen.
Westwood.
Your
Do you want to
waiver
have
was
someone grab the
signed.
kit? Do you want to
Can
have
you
someone
walk?
grab it? Yeah. Are you
Well then.
upstairs with people to boss around? Because I think you can do that better than me right now. That's your kink, right?
Everyone is downstairs right now. So Westwood just turns on the light from the basement stairs.
And it turns on. For the record, it turns on.
Cool. And just kind of stands there.
Anna is looking shaken and is just like sweaty and just kind of like pale, but she's also very clearly like, holy shit, that just happened. Hey, I got it on
Claire.
camera.
Claire.
You're a consummate professional.
You recognize the marks on Anna's arm. But unlike you, it is not just one of them. It is a full set of fingerprints encircling her forearm.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I kind of annoyed it.
You're a consummate professional, Anna.
I mean, we always shit talk the ghosts every location at some point. Look, it started it. It turned the lights off and shut the door and then appeared as like a sheet. Because see, there's no one in the sheet over there. Also, there might be two.
What do you mean there might be two?
It felt like when I was trying to get away from it, I grabbed a bottle that I'm like 100% sure was not there before the lights went out. And when I threw it at the thing, it made it scream. I'm assuming you all heard it scream. And it made it vanish. And if we're wondering why it hasn't gone to completion with its pattern that you found, Claire, maybe there's something else in here trying to push it away. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I guarantee that bottle was not there. And why would a bottle affect it anyway? It's made of shadow.
More like.
Well, it's good to know that it can be harmed. But Claire, I'm not always going to be there to keep you safe. And Garth hands you a gold-plated M1911. That the moment it hits your hand, you realize it's like way too light to be real.
Okay.
Claire
just kind of has a moment of starting to be like, I don't know how to shoot. It's
Wait,
just like
to Anna or Claire?
To Anna.
Okay,
good.
That means so much, Garth. Thank you.
Claire just makes direct eye contact with Anna.
And then Garth takes out the other
Anna's
one that he
just kinda
has,
like-
and we pose together for a second.
Anna's just like, if I looked pained, it's because of the handprint and not because it's fine. Do I see the bottle anywhere that I threw?
You do. So I mean, you're in this moment. You're posing.
Selfie.
You were looking pained. Charlie and Casty are like giving you big thumbs ups, like great shot, you two. And you look over, Anna, and you see the shattered remains of the bottle on the floor.
Hello. Is it like I can't tell what type of bottle it was.
I'm going to say
Should I
that.
roll for it?
Yeah, I'm gonna say roll for it. I'm gonna have you roll with sharp.
Mm. Wait, no, sharp is not my bad one. Sharp is oh good. That's a 7.
Close.
Very close.
You recognize it almost immediately, in fact. It's a little hard just because you're trying to like put those fragmented pieces together mentally because you're probably not picking them up because that would be a
No,
really bad decision.
she's not that dumb.
But you recognize that it's a bottle of holy water.
Hey.
Cash.
Garth, Claire, this isn't your holy water, right? I'm gonna assume it's not any that you brought in the house.
I don't touch this stuff.
My
Not
mistake.
since
Claire,
07.
Claire will, oh, Jesus. Claire will kind of like glance back up at the top of the stairs where Westwood is standing, and then she will go, I don't think it's holy water. I think it's probably salt water. That's what works against Garth's slugs.
Garth goes over. Yeah, that's salt water.
Big sigh from Anna, and she just picks up the recorder she dropped, and she's like, I'm gonna download this footage in the van where the bandages are. If anyone wants to look at actually I could just can I replay it or is the camera broken?
The camera is broken, unfortunately.
Is the card fine?
Big win for Westwood.
Westwood, yeah. Westwood is like watching you pick up the camera, like ready, and when it's fully broken, she's just like,
I'm guessing that's the only camera
Westwood's got
I'd had time to set up, right?
Westwood's got
Yeah.
a magnet, a super magnet in her pocket, ready at any.
oh, Westwood's got the
Several
scramblers. Westwood's got scramblers for sure.
And digital card damage too.
Digital card is not damaged.
Gonna pocket that.
Yet.
Yeah,
You gonna
yeah. We're gonna try. Anna's gonna try to like get that to the van without Westwood noticing. It's just like cool. I'm gonna see if I can recover any footage because this is broken as shit. But flaming eyes, shadowy, real shitty attitude for a slug. Those brain slugs.
A real mean slug.
They're bitches.
Mm.
Gonna need more salt.
Anna, could you just real quick, Charlie, can you describe what you saw and confirm it was in fact a brain slug?
Just give it antennas. Just describe the same thing and just give it antennas. Is Claire like motioning that? Like, just
Yeah, Claire's just like, you just see Claire trying to mouth to you. She's like, just describe it, but with antennas.
It was a really slimy slug. It looked shadowy, probably better to avoid detection. And it had little flaming eyes, but they could have been its flaming antenna ends in the dark.
Perfect.
Good thing that salt was there.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie, Garth, perhaps we could come back down later. You have some more of that snail slime on you.
Opens his jacket, 6 more vials at the ready.
Perfect. We'll get some B-roll. Actually, let me call up my guy and we'll bring in some slugs as well.
She's got a slug man on standby.
Don't do that.
The company's got a slug man on standby.
Oh,
Sounds
They're
good,
gonna-
Anna
boss.
looks more pained by this than by the burn on her arm, for the record.
You're gonna destroy the resale value of this house, Westwood.
That's not my problem. And she's already like dialing, walking away.
Anna's gonna slink up the stairs to get back to her van.
Garth is
Claire's
like,
gonna turn to Onyx and be like, property damage is not covered in your NDA.
I was going to say, like, Onyx probably had made their way to the top of the stairs just to kind of look down and be like, is everything good? Wait, what? Shit, I
I'm
didn't read the
fine.
fine
Walks
print.
past. Claire walks past and she goes, remember, NDAs do not protect you from from actual criminal activity, and that means they can't use them against you in the event of property damage. Just keep that in mind. Don't worry, nothing to worry about yet, but just keep it in mind.
You all are
Okay.
renting, right?
And I mean, that out of all of the questions, Onyx is just like, yeah, obviously. Who can afford to buy a house in this economy?
Oh.
Oh.
Right.
Oh. Mm.
Is everything okay though? There were screams.
Yeah, it's just a little incident, but it's all good. Hey, did you bring any bottles of holy water into the basement?
No. I didn't. I mean, one of the others might. I can ask them.
Is holy water a thing you guys one of you guys would be into?
I mean, we've been trying to figure out ways of dealing with this thing.
Smart.
It wouldn't surprise me if someone had used holy water. I know we use salt, and that didn't do anything.
The salt didn't do anything.
No, we
Weird. Yeah, we'll cut it in post.
Can I keep speaking? They
Yeah,
ask,
it's fine.
looking at Garth.
Yep.
Yeah, we'd heard that if you put, a line of salt, under the door and around the windows, that can offer some sort of protection, but it never seemed to make a difference.
Well, it's already in your house.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, so we tried that. But I can ask the others, see if anyone brought holy water into the house or into the basement.
Might be good for each of you to keep some on you.
Anna,
Yes.
Anna and Claire, I would just like each of you to roll with Sharp.
It's a 10!
An
Nice.
8 for Claire.
Only a win.
Dang.
A 6 and a 1, and my sharp is +1.
I was just doing mental math in my head. Okay. Claire,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say you are someone who is very good at reading body language. You spend a lot of time watching others, and you spend a lot of time communicating with an entity that is a shadow. It is clear that there is something that Onyx knows but isn't saying. I'm going to say with your 10, Anna, that is clear to you as well. But what also is clear to you is that Onyx is protecting someone. And in fact, what I'm going to say kind of clues you into that is I would imagine you have a way of looking at all of the feeds,
Oh yeah.
probably even from your phone, like a
Yeah.
way to keep track of that. And
It's
I'm
probably a company phone. I don't think Wes would let me have that on my personal phone.
No, that is totally valid. So, yes, on your company phone, you pull up the
Access to.
feeds.
Of course.
And something you notice is that you're not sure when, but the feed to the living room has been cut.
Hmm. That's interesting. With the other cameras I set up, can I see who entered or left the living room around the time the footage was cut?
You could look back to try and see the moment. Do you do that just now in front of everyone?
No, I figure I probably need to go to the van to do that since I don't think I have replay on the phone. Just, I don't know, maybe I do, but I feel like she needs to get bandaged up anyway because her arm is just crisp, so
So
we're gonna go to the
you're,
van to do that.
yeah, you are going to the van to get some medical attention, to give yourself medical
To give
attention
myself, like, we don't have a doctor.
as is part of for the course here.
Yes.
I don't even think you have the chance to do that because you want to know the answer to this question. And what you see as you go back through the footage, I'm going to assume, given that the cameras need to capture any noise or sounds or things like that, that all of them have audio capabilities. And so it's a moment or two after the door slammed shut. And all of them jump and turn towards it. And there's a few moments of back and forth of like, should we check on them? Like, should we let the professionals have their encounters using the right word, having been schooled on that earlier? And almost in unison, all three of them turn and look at Evan. And he seems perfectly calm and at ease and says, "No, I can do that." But you realize they haven't asked him a question. They're just looking at him expectantly. And he looks at them, and it makes it clear that he was not just talking to any of them because he says, "No, I have a way that I can help." And then he looks at the camera and then at Onyx and says, "But I need you to cut the feed." And that is where we are going to leave this first part of the last/lost broadcast.
Last lost broadcast.
Last loss. The LLB.
LLB.
Legally we can't cut the feed, so
Good thing
we
it
signed a
was
contract.
good thing it was just a camera malfunction.
Yeah.
No, but that will make a great edit. We'll cut to commercial right there. And then we'll cut back, and not cut the feed. Absolutely not.
We usually kind of cut the feed and post anyway, whenever it kind of made sense in the story. Oh, the feed's
It's
cut.
true.
Anytime someone tripped over something.
Anytime you had to leave them on a cliffhanger before
Put a
break,
slug on the camera lens when it cuts back from commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Slime
Absolutely
CGI
incredible.
effect.
All right, everyone. So before we wrap up for tonight, I'm going to give each of you a chance to remind people of why you are awesome, where else they can find you, and all of the cool things about you. And once again, we are starting with Corey.
I'm Corey. If after seeing Garth Targrave, you don't know why I'm cool and awesome and excellent, I don't know that there's any other way. But maybe there's one other way. It's to come and check us out on Class Replay. Wayne Hovacek, greatest Gritsky player of all time. Also, hopefully, greatest secret agent of all time coming up. So join us then. Normally it's today's slot, but that'll be maybe in 6 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that. Soon enough.
Yeah, we're
Meh.
estimating. Yeah, we will definitely be back for another episode of this before that.
That's right.
Incredible. Your Garth was everything I wanted from Garth Encounters.
Yes.
Julia.
Hi, I'm the local Delaware cryptid. You can find me at Hexbot on all social media platforms. Today I've been Claire Rio, who's just a totally normal translator, nothing to worry about. But when I'm not doing that, I'm either Kelly Violet, who's a totally normal cleric rogue hybrid, or I'm Lyra Kroll, who's a totally normal teenager who doesn't cause any of her own problems ever in Academy Age.
So normal.
So many normal characters.
So many normal characters. And speaking of being so normal and having so many
So
normal
normal.
characters, Raph.
I am actually known. My nickname is Normal. Like that's what people call me. Normal.
I've
Full.
never called you that a day in your life.
Hey,
That's not true. Yeah, exactly. That's literally how we greet each other every single day. I don't know what. I don't know why you're embarrassed of that. Anyway, I played Amelia Westwood today, the exec. You can also find me playing also very normal characters. Typically today I would be the very normal Maximilian Miller. I also play a very normal.
Press X to doubt.
I also play a very, very normal mom of the group, Sophie McAllister. Rip.
Incorrect. I'm still here. I just am dying right now. It's fine.
In Redacted, on Thursday, every other Thursday, and then every other Tuesday that is not this Tuesday, I play the very normal Yuna Orlova over in our Changeling the Lost game. And I think that's all of the games, but there's some stuff that's coming up and it should be very exciting, and you'll find out when you find out. Also very normal.
I was going to say,
honestly, kind of boring. Like, don't even.
You can name a season of Secrets and Shadows, Raph.
Oh, that's right. Very soon, and we will be starting back up the very normal season of Secrets and Shadows, a season 2 Secrets 2 Shadows. And yeah, again, also very normal. And who knows what happened to Carmen since last we saw him?
Who knows indeed?
Who knows indeed?
Who knows?
Hey, Raph, just real quick. Quick. Yuna, what is her paintbrush?
Her paintbrush. What do you mean? She uses it to paint with.
Is it made of something special?
Usually snipers are made of metal and wood, so.
That was the answer that I was expecting. Thank you for that, Raph.
I'm scared.
Steph.
Yay! Hi, I'm Stephanie. Not usually here on Tuesday nights, but I'm very happy to get to hang out with the class reunion crew.
Yay!
It's been very fun. I've been Anna, the Snoop. Very much curiosity killed the cat with this character, so we're going to see how long she lasts. Usually, I can be found in Redacted every other Thursday, and Two Secrets, Two Shadows is coming up. Rhiannon, my angsty little witch, will be back. And this Friday, I'm actually going to try my hand at running a one-shot called Rafenheim, very much based on, it's a short little game based on Gothic horror literature. So it's going to be a fun, normal family reunion in a very normal old castle full of crows who may or may not be what they seem. So come see how this family reunion goes. It's going to be a time. There's some very fun characters, right, JD?
Correct. And
You're
it
just
is
a normal little
time.
guy.
I am such a normal little guy.
Normal little guy.
It is
Not
a really
haunted
good...
at all.
No, we're gonna have a really good time together.
Fun family reunion.
And with that, I am not going to list everything I do. It is way too many things. What I will just say is you can find me here many, many nights in some of the ongoing campaigns and in some fun one-shots like this and one that Steph is going to run. I will be playing, as Steph said, a normal little guy who just haunts the castle, and it's fine, and is best friends with the crows. Normal things happening. And then next Friday, I will be running In Extremis, a game that is inspired by the Locked Tomb. So if you want to see some space necromancy, join us for that, because that will be an excellent, excellent time. And I think with that, everyone, we have had a night. Are we ready to say good night? How does Garth sign off?
Oh.
Signing off, this is Garth Targrave from another episode of Garth Encounters. Cut, cut.